Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product, as well as our guest lecturer members Vite Ramen and Full Grammar Alchemist. Class is in session.
Distant. I am changing my microphone.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will. It's your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's me, TMO73, and I'm joined by Mike Rance and Paul. But something crazy just happened outside my door, so I'm going to step away for 2 seconds while these two talk and do other fun stuff. So I'll be right back.
Okay, bye, Jeremy.
Okay.
Oh, Paul, I can hear you a lot better now.
Oh, good. If everyone else can hear me okay, let me know in the chat, because I was trying something out with my AirPods and that wasn't working.
He can't hear us. He has his AirPods in. Oh no!
Oh no! What are we gonna do? So, Mike, how was your FOW week?
It was filled with me going on an anniversary trip this weekend.
Hey, how was that?
It was great.
Oh, good.
We only went like 2 hours away, but we just went by the California coastline, and it was just really nice to get away from everything for a little bit, just relax, enjoy some time. Had a sick view over a cliffside for dinner, kind of cool. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Jeez, that's amazing. Well, I'm very happy for you. Congratulations.
Much appreciated. How was your Force of Will week, Paul?
Force of Will week was pretty good. I've been enjoying the new spoilers. I had a brief stint experimenting with T2 because I have time to mess around and try
Nice.
T2.
We love Goo Boy.
Yeah, we do like a melty boy, very
Yep.
quesadilla. That's his favorite sandwich, by the way. Is a quesadilla.
Okay, is a quesadilla a sandwich?
Chat, you let me know.
Chat, tell me, is a case? No, a quesadilla is a hot dog.
I thought it was a panini.
Is a panini not just a hot dog?
Is a hot dog just a sandwich? And if you put it on the panini press, is it then just a panini?
No. Anybody here saying hot dog is also a sandwich is wrong. The parts are connected. If it's a sandwich, the two breads have to be separate entities. There is not a separate entity in a hot dog, making a hot dog a taco.
So if I go to Five Guys, it's a sandwich. If I go anywhere else, it's not a sandwich. Okay, that makes more sense. It's context.
You can separate the sub. The sub.
It's a weird hot dog. I gotta agree.
A sub is more hot dog than sandwich. I'm putting it out here, folks.
T2 is
You've been lied to your whole life.
T2 is definitely not good into mask. However, there are some neat little nuances that go into that that go into how T2 functions under mask that I hadn't really considered. It's still not super great, because you can't like suck up all of your other metal life forms with other effects, and you don't get metal helix and paradox, which is what we were playing this past weekend. But it was strangely interesting to learn that I can the having a resonator on the field and then fusing onto that resonator does not require it to be a metal life form. It just requires the keyword, which is really interesting.
Neat.
Yeah, last movement would be really good if it were mana paradox.
How does T2 fare into Gil Giotto?
Anyway, is a hot dog a sandwich or is it a hot dog?
Now I get you back on this train.
Yeah, we were just kind of experimenting and figuring out like how do we get around mask, and it was kind of just like a good like just 3 guys chilling in a basement, and figuring out how to work T2. And so that was
Three
pretty
guys
good.
chilling in the basement.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
5
Hi,
feet
Jeremy.
apart.
5 feet apart.
Because they're playing foul.
Jeremy, how was your foul week? What'd you do this week?
My Foul week was pretty good. I got to play some Fox, and I got to play some books, and I made a very silly deck that I can't wait to play on Wednesday. It's very cool and fun, and has a fun deck name that I will not spoil. I'm a little quiet. Let me adjust.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
I'm on the right thing. Maybe I just need to get a little closer. I may be trying to be a little quiet, to be perfectly honest.
Because of the thing that's crazy that happened outside?
Because of the thing that is crazy that happened outside. So maybe check your YouTube settings to see if it's that.
Yeah.
Am I quiet
And
to
once you check
YouTube?
YouTube settings,
Paul and
no,
Mike,
I can
am I
hear.
quiet to you?
No,
I can hear you fine. So
Okay.
everyone on stream, just turn your volume up so I can just scream into the microphone.
Yeah, don't do that. But anyway,
1, 2,
2,
3.
3.
Quesadilla.
Anyway, thank you all so much for being flexible there, and for these other two for covering the fort while I was gone. We are here. It's office hours. We're talking about FOW. We got some spoiler stuff to talk about tonight, including some very interesting lore drops that totally took me by surprise, and including the beginning of the support for Helen. If you haven't already got your pre-orders for this set, you should definitely go do that. The link is in the description down below to go get that from Odyssey Games. They do have pre-release kits, which is limit 1 per person, and then boxes available. You can even pick those products up at FowFest, which is pretty huge. Speaking of FowFest, we are still on pace to break 100 players, but we need your help to do it. So you got to go get that pre-reg in down below. It gives us the best sense of understanding how many people we are going to have there. So if you haven't considered doing that, you should do it. With that out of the way, we got spoilers to talk about. Last week, we had Ashwin herself revealed, but then right after that, we got some more of her support, which we're going to talk about. First up, we have our oath. For each undiscovered world, it is the Conqueror Oath. Put the top X cards of your opponent's deck into their owner's removed area, and put 2 X1 Fire Cryptid Resonator tokens with Swiftness into the field, where X is the number of times you've already played a card with Oath this game plus 1. If 5 cards were removed this way, choose 2 face-up Resonator cards in your opponent's removed area and play them without paying their cost. Crazy. Remove this card from the game as it resolves. There's a little bit of a distinction right now about what the X value is in determining that first cast might get you actually be X of 2, but we're not quite sure on that one.
I'm pretty sure already played a card refers to previous ones. If it's just that for each time you played a card.
The question on this one is because it doesn't target and it doesn't choose modes on cast. So it's like this weird wording nuance that might refer to itself because it checks X at resolution. We got to get some clarity on that. I could see it going either way.
Which will come in the next CR.
Hey-oh, thank you.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Thank you.
So even just the first cast of this card is insanely good for getting it started. Considering the fact that if you're playing this in like Gil Ashwin, with the extension rule, this is pay 2, draw 2, make 2, mill 2, or pay 2, draw 2, make 2, mill 1, right? Because they're cryptids, so when they enter the field, the subruler or the extension rule will let you draw 2 cards. This is like hands down the best oath that we've seen so far. Like, and it's not close. I was
quite good.
I was talking earlier with Mike about how the other oaths feel very paradox coded. This one is straight up Wanderer playable. Like, just straight up Wanderer playable. So, yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Heaven forbid you actually get to 5 casts.
That's totally real. I did not realize the narrator was Gil Lapis the whole time.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
The whole time?
We're going to get to that. That was pretty exciting.
I've been here the whole time.
Next up, we have Soul Eating Curse. This is a 2 black and X spell with Remnant. As you play this card from your graveyard, it gains. You pay 1 black less to play this card, and you pay 600 life. And part of its resolution is you gain X hundred life plus an additional Y 100 life. So essentially, if you're casting it from graveyard, it gets cheaper but costs you some life, and it gets an additional effect, which is gaining life back. So it kind of refunds itself, which I think is gross. Target player removes the top 3 cards, X plus 3 cards from their deck from their game. The chosen target loses X 100 life multiplied by 2, plus an additional Y 100 life, where Y is the number of cards in the chosen player's removed area, plus the number of entities you control with the Darkness Magic Stone type.
Oh my god.
Algebra.
The freaking math equation.
Algebra the card.
We doing math.
Yeah.
More math.
math. So this card is a little nuts. I would like to point out that it is a darkness chant with X in its cost and has nothing related to specifically Gil Lapis in it. Valentina really likes this card.
Yeah.
Because if you make X equal 5,
Crap.
then you pay 2 plus 1,000 life to mill 8, RFG 8, make them lose 1,000 life, and then lose an additional 800. So you pay 2 black and 1,000 life to make your opponent RFG 8 cards and lose minimum 1,800 life.
And then cast it again.
And then cast it again, because why not? Probably kill them, like single-handedly.
Honestly, this would probably just kill them.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Valentina has a kill spell now.
Yeah, she could just kill face. She's just like,
Yeah.
cast the first
Is
one,
Mike
cast it
playing
again.
game? Is Mike playing Valentina?
Mike might be playing Valentina at Falfest.
Oh no, you high-speeded all of my assassins. Whatever shall I do?
Okay,
anyway.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Oh no! Anyway.
Yeah, this is very good just as a general. Like, I honestly might put this in the cube, but I honestly also might not. Like, this might be cubable because we don't have anything that makes weird discounted X costs in the cube, and it just feels like a silly card.
It's also gross that this is a remnant.
Yeah.
Just
It does have an upfront cost, right? So like if you get your opponent down low enough, but it refunds the cost of itself almost immediately if you're playing it remnant, which is gross.
Oh yeah. Like even if you just said X is 0, remove 3 cards is pretty dang good for a certain ruler who likes to draw cards off remnant.
Utsunes.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. And it's a remnant card that you can put into the grave with her own.
You know what's gonna happen at Falfest? I'm gonna play Valentina with this card. I'm gonna be Kage this into the grave at the start of each game, and I'm just going to miss every Gil Giotto matchup. It'll be great.
Hey, listen. Post ban list. Who knows? Maybe Gil and Giotto are comboed.
Oh, one can only hope. I don't want to see
Giotto. I mean,
anymore.
Giotto is dead. So that lore ban though.
Lore-wise, she doesn't need to stay printed.
And she also doesn't want to partner with Gil Lapis anymore in the lore. So like, served her time. It's what is that Woody meme where it's like Gil Lapis just is dropping the Giotto because he has Ashwin. I don't want to play with you anymore. He's got Ashwin instead.
Yeah, Giotto hardban not unlikely. Yeah, I would say it's not unlikely.
I don't know if it's. I don't think a hard ban of Giotto is
Nobody
likely.
has ever enjoyed playing as or against Giotto.
Listen, as someone who has played Giotto and against solo Giotto, it honestly wasn't that bad, and like I had a cool time trying to figure it out. Like it's not
solo Giotto is not that bad.
She's really pretty mid.
It's just annoying.
That's fair. But here's the thing.
This is also a card for solo Giotto, by the way.
It is a card for solo Giotto. So we're gonna talk about something real quick. We're gonna talk about our ban list predictions in like a couple weeks, but I do want to talk about this. You have to remember that the ban lists are for specifically kind of the concept of like the competitive environment, right? Solo Giotto is incredibly mid, and even before all of the crazy cards that came out, she saw 0 competitive play So the fact that someone would look at, if she gets comboed with Gil, the idea of like, oh yeah, now's the time to play Giotto again, is insane competitively. So I'm just like, I think that's not a thing to even really think about. And I'm going to go on record of saying, if anyone in their right mind is actually considering the idea of sideboarding a single Giotto in a solo mode deck, you're insane. Like, what are you doing? That seems so stupid. Like, it just seems like such a bad move. So, bans can also just be for making the game more enjoyable. Sure, but I think a combo ban of Gil and Giotto does the job. So, that's just me. Let's see. Banned list predictions are for the Minnesota stream. Yeah, that we'll get there.
Let's talk about some
Anyway.
crazier Ashwin cards.
We're going to talk about the cards that are from our friends over at Only TCG that got spoiled. We have Senseless Unparalleled Ambition, Reunited Moonglow the 8th. You pay 1 less to play this card for each different name among Magic Stones and other player controls. Target player discards a card. Destroy target Magic Stone the chosen player controls. If you control a non-ordered Bandit J-Ruler, the chosen player discards a card, then destroy target Magic Stone they control. So in Moonglow, this is potentially pay 2, make them discard 2, and pop 2 stones.
Whoa.
Sorry, Paul, for all of your Magic Stone Research Institute / Ultra Magic Stone Golem decks.
Stop it. Stop it.
It's very silly. The card's very silly. But the other card that's kind of more powerful here was Pack of Blood Lava Tyrants. This is a 4-cost Cryptid Flame Spirit Lion with Swiftness and Bloodlust. It cannot be cancelled. And has Burning Breath. Whenever this card deals 1,000 damage to a player, if your weather is pollution, destroy target not Magic Stone that player controls. Each turn, only 1 Burning Breath ability triggers per player. And on solo mode, enter. This card enters the field from your deck. You lose the game. Enter. If you played this card, put all cards that share a name with it into the field under your control. If another player's weather is pollution, this ability cannot be cancelled. So let's talk about this card because there's a lot of talking about this card.
What's the quickest way to bring this out from your deck?
Ashwin the Resonator.
Perfect. Lose the game turbo is go.
So this is also a very interesting point. We're talking about potential, like, this is a discussion about ban stuff, right? So because there's been some discussion about like what does it mean, because we know we have the Ashwin Resonator, and there's a world where it's like, okay, what are we doing here? So this card has a world where if you're playing Gil plus Giotto, you can get it, or Gil plus Ashwin. If you're playing solo Ashwin, this card can't be cheated out anyway because you have. Hold on, we're gonna step even further back. This card is a lot to talk about. The easiest way to cheat
This card is a lot.
This card is a lot. The easiest way to cheat this card out is with Ashwin because she grabs any non-chant cryptid. If you are playing this with Gil Giotto together, then you can do this, but you're not going to get pollution. You have no pollution access, right? If you play this as solo Gil, for instance, to try to get the Ashwin Resonator can't grab you this card. If you play it as Gil plus Ashwin, then you don't have access to pollution either, but it is a really strong multi-strike 12-12 or 12-4 that Ashwin can get out for you because it has swiftness. So this lends to the discussion of, as another potential, we're getting ahead of ourselves with potential ban list stuff, is are we going to see a combo ban of Ashwin the Resonator and Ashwin the Ruler? Which could be very interesting, I think, because... And this card is a good indicator of maybe why that might be healthy for the environment. Because if we're operating under the assumption that Gil Giotto gets combo banned, then making Gilapis pick between having Ashwin as a tag partner or having to fly solo to be able to benefit from the Ashwin Resonator is an interesting discussion and drastically weakens this card to a point where it's still very strong, but it's not like insanity incarnate, right? So like you could, there's a lot of discussions. And it's also a perfectly fine payoff. This card is a perfectly fine payoff for solo Ashwin. I agree. Like this card's great for solo Ashwin as a boss monster, right?
You can also just play this in Bianchi tagged with Wolf Chick.
Kimie?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's difficult to give yourself pollution in tag Bianchi Kimie, but it can be done. You can use the amplifier to like cheat it in and like have it that way, as opposed to just starting the game with pollution, kind of a thing. This card has a lot of potential implications for what the combo ban list might look like, right? Because if Ashwin the Resonator and Ashwin the J Ruler don't get comboed, first off, it would be kind of weird to let Lapis have his main minion on the board and as a tag partner. Like, that's a little weird. Just like in canon.
Hasn't stopped them before.
What? Has it?
There, you could literally play a ruler and then play a resonator of that ruler.
Not in a tag combination, though, I don't think. That like naturally synergize with themselves so nicely.
Yeah, you could play Masked Brad and Killua and Bradlua.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, that's never been a precedent.
I guess
but if
that's
they
fair.
wanted to make it that way, makes sense.
Reflected and refrain with reflected and refrain. That's fair. Yeah. Those are fair points. There's interesting implications with this card because I say this, if you can tag Ashwin and Gil and he gets to keep the Ashwin Resonator, this card is a turn 1 2400 damage swiftness guy.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
a
really
lot.
good.
Which is a lot.
Big boy.
Which is a lot.
Rar.
Feet,
ball, feet, ball, feet, ball, feet, ball.
So yeah, interesting card, very strong card, very interesting implications to Gil, Lapis, Giotto, and Bianchi, and Ashwin, and all kinds of stuff. Big lion go burr, I guess. Yeah. Ashwin Rezo drawing 2 cards and getting a cryptid that's searching a regalia. Yeah, that's also a crazy thing too, right? If you play it at Ashwin, suddenly then Ashwin becomes a pay 2, draw 2, hit your opponent for 12. Or hit your opponent for 24.
That's a better reason.
Might be a little much.
That's a better reason to combo it.
Might be a little much. So if Gil goes, if Giotto does go the way of the ban list with, or at least a combo ban list with Gil, then I do think it sets the precedent that you should probably also combo ban the Ashwin plus the ruler, because I think solo Gil can do just fine because he still gets to play the extension role. He doesn't have to tag to use it. So he still gets to like have that bonus and has a fate card. So it's just like, guy doesn't need a partner to like be effective. But then yeah, just Ashwin and the XR, that also can work. But I kind of do want to let Ashwin and Gil to be able to combo together because that seems like a fun tag combination. So I think if you combo the Ashwin Resonator with the Ashwin Ruler, then like that serves the same purpose as like still being able to let them tag. But then like gives, what it does is I think it creates 3 different decks, which is why I'm interested in that as an answer, is it creates solo Gil, solo Ashwin, and Gil plus Ashwin, which feels like 3 very different decks, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Ashwin Rezo plus the XR. Yeah, that could work too. That serves the similar purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have the price to pay. Is a 3-cost card, quick cast card that says, Mike, this card has a line of text that I thought I would never see in a game of Force of Will. I'm gonna get your blind reaction to it. You can target resonators with barrier with this card.
I'm like, I,
Oh man.
I'm out of word. I'm out of words, man. I've said my piece with so many lines of text that this game has printed over the past 3 years that it made me just want to fucking face desk. This one is just like, if something says can't, can. And I'm like,
What
why?
Good though.
You pay 2 void less. There's more. You pay 2 void less to play
I
this card,
know.
and players cannot chase this if it targets a resonator with Mythic. Remove target resonator your opponent controls from the game face down. Search your opponent's deck, graveyard, hand, and or removed area for all cards that share a name with the chosen target and put them into their owner's removed area face down. If you searched your opponent's deck, they shuffle it. Robometa. Get absolutely wrecked. Robometa. This also hits Tang Song. Tang Song has Mythic, I believe. Yes?
That's a good question.
I
The
believe
monk?
so.
4. This is a good way to call
I
it.
didn't think anything. I didn't think any Taoists actually had like
Tang Song
playability.
doesn't have Mythic?
So
Okay. I didn't know if he did or not. 4. This would hit 4, right? That's a good way to hit 4.
Let's just advanced search all things with the keyword mythic.
Hooray. I like this card in the sense that it's just like, this is current era Black Lightning, right? Or Black Moonbeam. We've had
yeah.
Black Moonbeam, Black Moon Ray. This is like this era's Black Moonbeam. And I'm like, yeah, okay. With Gil Lapis being so prevalent, it's about right.
Ooh, let's look at resonators with mythic. That's
The biggest one is the biggest one is probably Brain. The biggest one is probably Robometa. Interestingly
Robometa.
enough, someone did point out that this is honestly a really good card for Black, Blue, Green K4, because your addition could just give everything Mythic.
Oh, there is a great number of cards here.
There's
a
lot
great
of stuff
number of
in it.
cards.
There's a lot of Mythic stuff.
Oh, how many of them are good?
A lot of them are very good.
Mythic is very good.
Actually,
Mythic is very good.
So just in the new set alone, the new Guardian of the Throne in the Tomb, has Mythic.
Isn't that the new Marvel rare for Hachi Suka?
Mm-hmm. So you can just yeet that and all copies face down. The new Utsune's Remnathropos. 4 was already mentioned. Chubby 5-tailed fox, Long Tony himself.
Long Tony himself
No!
is Mythic.
No.
He's not even a named character.
Nah. He is
not canonically. Not canonically, but he
importantly, Nick Day
can
get yeeted by this card.
Because it can be targeted even though it has barrier.
Hugh, Gone.
Yo, Skibbities?
Hugh is good. This is a good anti-Hugh card because if it costs you 1, so even under the Hugh discount, you can still kill Hugh, which is nice.
Gone gets yeeted by this. Vacuous.
Interestingly enough to note is it still costs 3 for regular barrier stuff. It only costs 1 if it's Mythic. So if it's a barrier
Mythic,
Mythic,
a sideboard card.
This card is really good against like specifically barrier Mythic in conjunction. Like it's the best thing against it, right? Which is like pretty good. Like I said, it does feel like a sideboard card, right? It feels like kind of the weirdly the next evolution of high speed uppercut, or for decks like, for instance, this card absolutely going in the sideboard of Fox.
100%.
Right? Because like this is a great card for Fox to be able to be like, I can't high speed uppercut. I'm Fox. I can't high speed uppercut, but price to pay. I'll play price to pay in Fox. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is the price right? It has Mythic, so yes, it is. Haha. Showcase winner. Horn God of Aradia. Synthetic Spirit 0. Wu Jiawu in Power Suit.
He is. That boy's a mythic boy.
And all of the Hanada Core's Guardian Angel cards
Yeah.
are also mythics.
It's good against it's good. It's really good against even stuff with just mythic. Absolutely. Like that is just straight up good. The first line is just added bonus, right? And there's plenty of good mythic stuff. This also Yakami doesn't have mythic, but it can be used to target Yakami, which is nice.
For 3.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. So really cool card. Really like it a lot. Next up, we have our next Marvel rare. This is Pyromancer of the Ebon Home. This is a 2-cost 7/5. As an additional cost to play activate abilities of this card, pay X, where X is the number of times you have played an incandescent ability this game. The incandescent ability is banish this card, destroy target special magic stone. Pay this ability only if the chosen target's controller controls 3 magic stones. And tap, destroy target resonator and each resonator that shares a race with the chosen target. If the chosen target has a total cost of 2 or more, and your weather is not pollution, banish this card. So it's multi-sided board wiping, and it has stone destruction, but both parts of that gets more expensive the more you use him to blow stuff up. Yeah, this one, again, is another reason why people are a little bit concerned about the idea of Ashwin Resonator with the next version of Giltag, right? Being that, like, this gets to be cheated out by Ashwin Rezo, which then suddenly becomes pay 2, draw 2, have a board wiper that can also pop stones. It's just kind of like, maybe a little much, you know?
A little bit.
A little bit. That being said, phenomenal card to target with Fates Reunited. We like that. Although we do have to, again, watch out for Ashwin, because Ashwin can say bye to your Fates Reunited. Again, good.
Jer, I think we missed one card.
Did I miss? What did I miss?
In the order. A Symbol of Magical Fraying.
Oh, we've seen that before. It was the pre-release promo. We've talked about it.
Then you don't want to see the new art?
I mean, it's fine. It's Ashwin versus Lucy. I think I like it better than the pre-release promo artwork, as much as I love Lapis.
I don't know. I like both for different reasons.
I think they're both great. But I think I like the new art better. It hates tribal decks. I am offended. That's fair.
Feet, ball.
Against Feet, yeah, you're just popping other elves. Yeah, that's fair. Next up we have For the Memory of the Queen, which is another card that's going to probably have to be in the Q&A document, which we'll talk about in a minute. Oath Eclipse. The ability of it is put up to 1 addition, Regalia, or Resonator of total cost X or less from your graveyard into the field. You gain X 100 life, and each other player loses X 100 life, where X is the number of times you've already played this game plus 1. So first cast, you get a 1-drop, second cast, 2-drop. So if you put a non-alternative card with total cost 6 or more into the field, put all non-chant cards from your graveyard into the field. Remove this card from the game as it resolves. So the reason why this card needs some Q&A is because of Dual Cluster Brunhild. This is a white card with an X value.
Oh no.
So
okay.
So
to spell that out.
This is why there is conversation ongoing that will need to be clarified in the Q&A, because the Dual Cluster Brunhild, we're questioning whether that can modify this thing's X value, meaning that you can speed ahead using using Dual Cluster Brunhild. We don't know yet.
In which case, Odin stocks go real high.
This card in general just goes way high.
Yeah.
You could potentially, on first cast, get a 6-drop and reanimate everything. Call it a day.
Combo.
Um,
Combo.
I think it's a very easy just clarification there. But I do think this card is Brunhild is generic. Yeah, can be used in anything.
Yeah.
I think this card is really cool, and I think that Wu Jia Wu looks like he is ready to murder someone.
On all fours.
Yeah.
Notably. Like a cat would be.
Yeah.
Has he... No.
All of the oaths are going in the cube. I might. The oaths might actually go in the cube. They feel like really fun cube cards.
Oath, cube, oath, cube.
And they'll
oath,
all be
cube,
uber.
oath.
Because they're all super rares. So all of the uber people need to bring me uber oaths at FowFest so I can put them in the cube. This image happens after Giotto commanding Wu to serve the crown, not herself. Wu was pissed. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do think all 10 of the oaths are going to go into the cube. I think they're very cool, like cube-coded cards. I think they'd be very fun.
Very much.
The issue I have with that, though, like the one concern I have with them, what I would have to watch them very quickly, is that there's not a lot of ways to mess with the RFG in the cube. But like, you'd only ever get one, and if it's canceled by some kind of automatic ability cancel or somehow done something, like, it's probably fine. Like, I don't know. There might be enough. You can cancel the oath from resolving. It's not like
you can cancel the oath.
You can cancel the trigger.
There are, yeah. You can do like a Essence of Athenia to put it in the graveyard instead.
Yeah, that's true.
Classic.
Next up, we have. Don't worry, Mike. I'm getting to Helen soon. Okay, I'm getting to Helen soon.
Yeah.
This is Ben Roven, Reborn by Flame, 2-cost Cryptid Flame Spirit Wizard, 5/5 with Incarnation for double red, Mythic, and terrifying. She's got Mythic. Whenever a Resonator deals battle damage to another player, its controller may pay 500 life. If they do, draw a card. This card's going in the cube too, by the way. Whenever a Resonator leaves the field, if your weather is pollution, put 2 -1/-1 counters on a non-cryptid Resonator. And you can pay 1 black and put 2 non-magic zone cards from your opponent's removed area on the bottom of their deck. Target spell or ability's controller loses 400 life. Play this ability only during your turn and only twice per turn. This one's interesting to me.
This is a very interesting card.
The best part is, you can hear me out. For playing for all the worlds that haven't undiscovered worlds, we're gonna make 2 tokens that are both fire, and then swing with them. And if they survive, sack them both to Ben Roven. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of neat.
Another wizard.
Another wizard. Who this honestly, she works really well with. She works really well with solo Ashwin, because Ashwin wants to make the weather pollution. Interestingly enough, though, also works really well with Bianchi.
Yep.
Because Bianchi can use Smokescreen Bomb and make 2 little Smokescreen tokens that we can then sack to Ben Roven, which I really like a lot. What else we can sack to her? Perrin. Okay, buddy.
This man will go to bat for Perrin, the Fire Fairy.
Yeah, so apparently so. Man top eight's 1 GP and suddenly thinks he's all that. Big Witch.
It's more than me.
Big Witch. Next
No
up we
longer
have
the water boy.
a
the
card
water man.
that has reference to a card that I did not have on my bingo card to reference. This is the Putrid Symbol of the Lord of Flies. It is an addition rune glyph with Divinity 5. When you apply or perform an effect you control, This card has Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, in addition to its other names in all areas. Mike, did you have Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies on your bingo card?
Dude, I've never had Beelzebub Lord of Flies on my bingo card. Nobody had that card on their bingo card when it was released.
Yeah. Used to be in the cube. Is no longer in the cube.
Put it back in. We got a symbol for it now.
Maybe, yeah. Players cannot gain life. Residence Darkness Magic Stone. Put 5 100/100 Darkness Cryptid Insect Resonator tokens with Flying and Bane into the field. So if you're playing Gillepis, Callstone, draw 5. No worries. I mean, like, something's going to happen. Anyway, tap target up to 3 Chain Resonators. Put a -1/-1 counter on the first. If your weather is pollution, put 2 -1/-1 counters on the second, and 3 -1/-1 counters on the third. Very clearly designed to work with Ashwin. Clearly. This artwork is weird. Very classic for you, Emon.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say. We're going back to the demon realm, baby.
Like, it is a 3 cost, so it's pretty expensive.
I don't see this thing ever seeing play.
It's a normal. Like, the only place I could see it being played in is like exclusively probably solo Ashwin. But
and Cube.
And Cube. Yeah, for sure. But that's about it.
Expensive.
It's just expensive to cast. Play it in Dark Bianchi. Sure, I could also see that, right? I don't know what a Dark Bianchi list would look like, but we certainly are getting the stuff to make one with the pollution stuff, thanks to Ashwin.
It's here.
Next up, we have for the Heroic Sacrifices. This is a 2-cost oath. You may play a Resonator of total cost X or less from your hand without paying its cost, and up to 1 target J/Resonator gains +X/-X, where X is the number of times you've already played it, +1. The defense of the J Resonator you control was decreased by 600 or more. You get a Swifty Flying board until the end of the turn. No, sorry. Yes, until end of turn. They're riding a train. If you look behind the card text.
Oh, they are riding the train.
They are on the train.
Choo.
This is pretty decent, honestly. Like, it's slow to start. Thankfully, we do have a good 1-drop, which I think Fire Ants is a 1-drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we do have a good 1-drop to like get in off of it, and then being able to get his heavier cost stuff that has Call of the Monarchs rolling potentially at the beginning of the turn for 1 red is like not bad. Not bad.
Let's see.
Even if it starts at 2, it's good. Yeah, for sure. I think this is pretty good. Slow to start. Yeah. But this is another oath that I think in Hanada, because you also have to remember, here's the thing about this oath for Hanada that I think actually is a big thing to consider, is in Hanada, you're probably using the extension rule that makes Swiftness Everywhere belligerence. And if you're playing this with Goliath, you probably are using Build or Demolish, which means that stuff like potentially is coming into play tapped, right? So a slow start is like just fine for Goliath. He's like, it's fine. Like, I'm not getting hit. So like he's got time to get the engine rolling, and then he can kind of just literally barrel you over in a train with how much value he's getting off of this every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's something to be said. So Fire Ants is a 2-drop.
Is it a 2-drop?
Robomate is a 1-drop.
Robomate is a 1-drop. Yeah.
Let's see what else we have in here. Divine Beast of Re-Earth. Hey, Pat. Is a 2-drop, which is relevant. The Robomugo is a 3-drop.
Yeah.
So like this could get out of hand very fast.
Yeah. hmm
Very fast.
Yeah, I think this one probably works. Like, in looking at Robometa, in looking at Yokoshima, in looking at Goliath, I think the ones that this works best with are Yokoshima and Goliath. Like, I guess I would say any of the versions of this deck that are going to use the Hanada group XR are going to like for the heroic sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're using the other Hanada one, not so much. But I think if you're using the Hanada group first XR that makes swiftness, belligerence, and all that stuff, this card gets really, really good.
Relevant to the way you would play the new Robometa, old hand gimmick of Aradia, 4-drop.
Yeah.
So there's some good synergy here, and then like whatever you kill, you just bring back with Call of the Monarch.
Yeah, exactly.
So
okay, Mike, let's talk about your lady, shall we?
Do we have to? I read her text.
This is
I will
Helen.
say, the front image is pretty tasteful.
Helen, the Witch of Forgotten Memories. She is a rogue, scientist, wanderer witch. Players cannot move cards from their removed area to another zone as cost. Stolen magic. Witch or wizard entities without stolen magic and without Helen in their name lose all abilities in all zones. So that's the thing. Exploration 2 for 0, and then you stack the bottom card of your deck face down below this card, then shuffle your deck. Play this ability only once per turn. So she reveals the top 2, can reveal a treasure, takes whatever she doesn't want, puts it on the bottom, and then stacks it. So essentially, look at the top 2. One of them's going to be revealed, one of them's going to get stacked below Helen, shuffle. And you can do this once per turn during either player's turn. So much shuffling. God's Art, your witchcraft is mine for 1 blue. Target a ruler. If the chosen target is a witch ruler or a wizard ruler, put an astral counter on it. It is now referred to as a ruler with the astral condition. At the end of turn, if there are 6 cards stacked below this card, recover it and perform its judgment process. So you do have a way to judgment during your opponent's turn, potentially during God's Art. Now I know that there is some kind of clarification that's going to be needed on can this make all rulers astral because it's a separate sentence? I imagine that's not the intent here, that she doesn't have a 1 blue kill a ruler on it, but that's going to get clarified. Blue, red for judgment. Who's ready for Ivory Tower? Yeah, for sure. Use that ability once per turn. Paul is giving me a look.
Yeah, I'm reading this. Target a ruler. If the chosen target is a witch, a ruler, or or a witch or wizard ruler, put an astral counter on it. It's
Period.
Now
That's the thing that's causing people to be like,
put
oh,
an
well,
astral
it's
counter on it. Period. It is now referred to as a ruler with astral.
right. People are saying, well, if it's not a wizard, it's a separate sentence. Do as much as possible. So even if it's not a witch or wizard, it's now referred to as a ruler with the astral condition. That's not the intent.
Okay.
That's very clearly not the intent of this card.
Yeah,
like,
we'll just clarify that.
it's just gonna get clarified. Yeah, it could
It
astral
can astral
bread.
bread.
Yeah, poor bread.
Can.
It also can astral Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Utsune's, I believe.
I think, and
Double check
Gandinia,
that.
if that mattered.
Yeah, hits Gandenia.
Undine. It's Undine. I believe Undine is a witch.
Undine.
Is she a witch?
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Doesn't hit Leica. Leica ain't a witch.
It doesn't hit Utsune's.
Ooh, Undune's a. What is it? What is Utsune's?
She's a god.
On her front side?
She is a priest.
On her front side.
Yes.
Undine is a wizard.
That being said, though,
Yeah.
Her new resonator is a witch, so she will lose all abilities.
That's true. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. That is unfortunate.
And then on her J ruler side, this is the multi-dimensional divine witch Helen. She is a 10/12. She doesn't stop witches from having abilities on this side.
Relevant.
You can play cards from your removed area that were removed by an exploration effect you control performed. Notably, on her front side, she cannot do that. She can remove treasures, but doesn't get to do anything with them. They just sit there. This card gains Trinity abilities, of which resonators with Trinity you own revealed outside the game. Cards in your removed area gain all attributes while paying the activation cost of activate abilities of this card. Mind you, the Trinity Witches wanted to tap and expel cards from the RFG to do stuff. So being all attributes helps her a lot for that. And then enter, make all other Witch J rulers or wizards or Wizard J rulers astral. I guess I don't really know what that enter effect is about. Like, she's killing them on the front side. I don't know why. Okay. Whatever. ABC, I guess.
Well, on the front side, she only targets a ruler.
Sure.
So if you flip to get around that,
Sure.
or you somehow heal that ruler,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fair.
this is the way of like, no, you're really dead.
She very I mean, like, Helen is very clearly a ruler who wants to flip as fast as possible. And she's going to flip on probably turn 3, right? Because explore on her turn, explore on your turn, explore on her turn, explore on your, like, on your opponent's turn 3, as long as you're going first, is probably when you're judgmenting, because that's when you'll have the 6, right? So, like, you probably want to flip as fast as possible with Helen, which does bring up the case of Ivory Tower is probably very good with her because it can accelerate judgment. Because whenever you do the exploration ability, it actually does it twice. So it, like, halves the speed for Helen, which I think is interesting. So, Mike, lay it on me, buddy. We've been talking about how you were going to talk about Helen. We have now read through Helen. And keep in mind, we have not seen literally any of Helen's support cards, except for one. What do you got?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Go on. Tell me more.
I just, some of this card's text, like I literally had to like look at Force of Wind for relevant witches and wizards. There's not really a lot for the most part from what I can see, unless I'm missing anything. It's like conditional 1-cost judgment or just a 2-cost judgment. So like harkening back to the old days where it's like, oh, you just, one potential way, second potential way, the exploration to the stacking. I swear to God, if they make another thing where you just make like a little Pringle can of cards where you put them under each other, I'm losing my mind about that. I get, oh, that's crazy. You can play the treasures that you get with her on her flip side. Who cares? Every other ruler with exploration has been doing that forever. This is a slow card. This is a card that doesn't do anything. It's in a one good color and then another mediocre color. And it's like, it just feels like all this text just says nothing.
I will
How
say,
do you have so many lines that say nothing?
I will say, other than, so Robomeda, like Hachisuka, Robomeda, and Ashwin all felt like rulers who by themselves are threats. They present as the threat. Helen very much does not present as the threat. She definitely looks like she's the engine, but without seeing her cards, like what she's doing with that engine, I absolutely agree that she seems underwhelming on the surface.
Why is the big bad not the threat herself? Why is she doing a bunch of things that other rulers do better? Make it make sense.
Now,
this
we
is
could
not,
come back.
This is not the final boss.
We could come back next year. We could come back next year, or not next year, next week, and see all of her support cards and go, oh, okay, yeah. Like, very real possibility. She is just not obvious from the jump in terms of like what she's trying to do, which I think is the big piece. Floodgates on rulers. Listen, I'm gonna say this one time real quick. This whole players can't move to another zone as cost. We have all adapted so hard to that floodgate that I have stopped caring about when I see that line of text. Like, it truly does not matter to me anymore.
It's fine. It is totally
that
fine.
of all of the ones that exist, I get that it annoys people. I understand. We've all adapted to that one so hard that that line of text does not mean anything to me anymore. Like, I just truly don't. Yeah, but that's just me. I get why people might get frustrated by it. I think it's fine.
I just think in general people don't like dealing with floodgates
Which
by
is fair.
turn 0.
Which is fair. I mean, like, I'll concede that annoyance for sure. She's about stealing witch magic. She's supposed to do things the other witches do because she's literally taking their magic. The theming is good, but still.
Yeah. So when you look at the witches that we got in Thoth of the Trinity, basically if she sucks up all of these witches, and because cards in your removed area gain all attributes while paying the activation costs of activate abilities on this card,
Mm-hmm.
they have Trinity, so they will bestow that effect onto the J Ruler side,
Mm-hmm.
which means she can tap and activate any of those abilities.
Oh yeah, she becomes a Swiss Army knife.
always-
Swiss Army knife of interaction. Like, she becomes an absolute
yeah.
Swiss Army knife of interaction. This is what I'm saying. She is the engine. We need to see what the payoff to win the game is. That's the biggest piece for her. Like, because it's very possible.
So far,
Yeah.
because so far I'm looking at some of the older support that we have, and a lot of it's still pretty good. Like, we still have Wise Dragon. Like, you can still just remove treasures and then just play them after she's flipped,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we've already established that we could flip her pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you can just play Wise Dragons as a secondary win condition.
You could play Wise Dragons even before you flip her, because she's potentially, again, with Ivory Tower, you're exploring too every single turn, right?
Yeah, you could play Ivory Tower. You can just not flip her, like we just said. You can play things like Witch of the Fallen Kingdom. Remnants of the Ruin is still a card she gets to play. So there's still a lot of potential here.
I would say, I do want to say one thing, Yo-Yo, to your position about we've adapted by not using solarization. I would argue that we were really only using like 4 solarization cards to begin with. Namely Shiva, which we're all still casting for full cost if we don't have a fate card, and we're still probably fine with it. Cascade, I'll concede. That's a good card. I miss Cascade. Replicant Kaguya, and then 3 of the replicants. Kaguya, Dante, and Odin. For the most part. So, like, would I kill to have some of those back? Do I think that it would be nice to enter a world where we could, like, start sideboarding Cascade again? I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind sideboarding Cascade again. Am I glad that Replicant Odin has, like, fallen off in terms of being as good as it was because it's annoying as hell to have your board nuked? Yeah. As someone who was doing it, like, I was doing it to people, I'm fine. And we are getting a promo of it. So, like, I get it. I get it. Like,
yeah,
I see both sides of the perspective. I don't think it's terribly that big of a deal compared to some of the other ones that we've dealt with that I think are more justifiable to have action against. But that's just me. We can have differences of opinion.
I would say this is probably fine because in Paradox format, like, how many Helens are you really going to run into? So you have to make the cost benefit analysis of whether or not do I run this and run into Helen and just accept that or not.
Yeah.
And I would argue probably just say, well, I accept it.
Yeah. The only thing about Paradox is that, like, if Gil is still just as good as he is, unfortunately the XR for Gil does have the same kind of effect. So, similar kind of thing. Yeah, that's fair, Yo-Yo. 100%. We do got one more spoiler. We got only kind of a grainy image on it. This was from the video that was posted today. I will say Arlequin gets the consensus effect in the Undine matchup. Yes, that's true, because it's a consensus ability, I think. Because as this card enters, so I think it would
lose all abilities in all zones?
I don't know how consensus would work there. So Dark Hydra, we'd have to look into that. We should be getting something to flip those cards face down, stacked underneath her, or something that reveals those witches outside the game. Yeah, but sure. Witch of the glowing crystals.
Maybe Alejandro can Alejandro
if
clarify
Alejandro's
that.
still-
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, for sure. Lastly, we have the Witch of Glowing Crystals. This is the Witch of for the white color. Finally getting it. Scorched Bales, Melted Ice, or whatever. Finally getting it. Fallen Kingdom. Quick cast Barrier Void 4/4. Prevent all non-battle damage that would be dealt to this card or to target. Sorry, that would be dealt to players by sources they don't control, or that would be dealt to this card. Reunited with Helen, you pay 1 blue rather than pay this card's cost, and this card has Treasure Edition in addition to its other races in all zones. That to me, I think, is a hint for Helen on what her mechanic is going to be, all told. I think other cards for her are going to have that text where they can be treasures for Helen. Which, interestingly, does work for both Helens, by the way. It works for because it's Reunited Helen. So if your ruler has Helen in its name, it works for either one. Fire Witch side grade, yeah, for sure.
Notably, Water Spirit of the Lamp also has Reunited Helen.
Oh, that's a good question. New Helen says Witch Wizard entities. So Arlequin is not an entity when it's on the chase. And so consensus would still probably apply as it enters the field. So you're right. Arlequin would get to still hit you, even under Helen. Thank you, Alejandro, as always. Yeah, side grade Witch of the Fallen Kingdom, or Witch of Court, Fire Witch. Scorched Bale? No, Quenched Fires, I think is Witch of Quenched Fires. Yeah, you're doing your best, Alejandro, and we appreciate you. Very cool cards. I really like Helen more so than in the other rulers has me curious, I would say. Like from the jump, I was like, oh, this is the win con in looking at the other rulers. Like the win con seemed very straightforward when looking at them, at least like the first pass of them, right? Helen's like, I need to know what else you are doing before I make a decision. But I am very curious about it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to be the one to play her at first because Paul has that. I have Yokoshima and Ashwin. Paul has. Wait, do I have Yokoshima or?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay.
Not Yokoshima.
Or Robomeda. I have Robomeda and Ashwin. You have Hachisuka and.
No, you have Hachisuka.
I have Hachisuka because I wanted more stealth stuff.
Yeah.
But I have Ashwin. I do
stuff.
have Ashwin. I know.
You have Hachi and Ashwin. I have Robo and Helen.
Yeah, for sure. Because you have already been goofing around with Goliath stuff. And Mike, who do you have? Who are we assigning you to do a feature match for this set?
OG Reflect the Frame.
Got it. There you go. You heard it here
Let's
first.
go.
You heard it here first, folks. OG Reflect Refrain feature match from Mike Rance. We'll have him at FowFest. We'll get it recorded. It'll be great.
It's just one out of every card for the new set. And I just have to make it work with Reflect Refrain.
Helen is like a cake with no icing yet. It still needs to bake. Yeah, for sure. It's like we still got to figure out what's going on there. We don't know what flavor this cake is quite yet.
I'm already cooking.
Excited to hear it.
Is she the icing or like the cake part?
I think she's the cake. We need to see the icing to see. Like,
she is not sweet.
Yeah,
she bad.
No.
We'll figure it out though. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, this has been myself, DMO73, and I've been joined, as always, by Paul Reisman.
I took Helen so Jeremy wouldn't have to feel embarrassed.
And I do actually. Hold on. I have one more thing to do because I want to show these off.
Ooh.
Da-da-da-da. You haven't already seen it.
Da-da-da.
No lore talk? Oh, that's true. We do need to talk specifically about the lore if we have time. I do want to show these off because they came in.
Ooh.
Our FowFest mats are in. We have our prize wall mats are in. They look really
Ooh-wee.
good. We have our giveaway Uber ones. This is the giveaway Uber Zero Secret Garden.
Oh,
Looks really nice. Very excited about these.
You're welcome, chat.
Inked
You're
Gaming.
welcome.
Inked Gaming does an amazing job with these. So all of the mats for FowFest are stitched edge. They're beautiful. They turned out great. All of them are great. So definitely gonna want to come to FowFest to try to pick those up. So and then we don't have a ton of time, but we will talk real quickly. We got the finishing of the lore for Trinity Cluster. Kind of looked like Lapis was potentially going to lose. Because of Leica, and then he like suddenly was like, do it now, and then this like snap happened, and it turns out that Protopaterpolis is just re-earth and has already been conquered by Gil Lapis. And everything that we saw was because in the world of Ten Oaths that had already been conquered by Gil Lapis, but he was still visiting the world trying to do something. And it turns out the reason why he was able to do that is because Echo, who is a descendant of Lumia somehow, makes everyone in the worlds that Gil Lapis has conquered not know that they're conquered.
That is some dystopian level crap right there.
Lore go crazy. And so apparently the next world we're going to is the world of Kakia. Millennia, Echo, and Wukong are supposed to be going to the world of Millennia, which is the world of Kakia. I did not see that coming. I did not see that the story of Ten Oaths, like the world of Re-Earth, had already been conquered by Gil Lapis. Like, did not see that coming. Legitimately was like, whoa, like actually took a step back. So curious to see what that brings us, which is also why in the lore videos on the channel, we found out that the narrator this entire time has been the voice of Gil Lapis, which looking back on it, okay. And also I think that the voice actor they got to do Gil Lapis did a great job. So that was very cool.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so pretty exciting stuff.
So this is the basketball timeline.
It's the basketball timeline.
This is the basketball timeline.
Yep. So
future basketball.
Yep. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, this has been myself, DMO73, and I'll be joined as always by Paul Reisman again.
Yeah, I still took Helen so Jeremy wouldn't feel embarrassed.
Yeah, and Mike Rance.
He's a witch. She turned me into a newt.
But you got better.
Got better.
I got better.
Class dismissed, everybody.